Welcome to Culture Lore, where we dive into the wild, weird, and utterly unhinged shifts in modern culture. Today, we're ripping off the dystopian band-aid that's been slapped over the open wound of modern culture. That annoying little voice that has society screaming, everything's problematic. The vocal minority that keeps calling out every little thing as offensive, reshaping our movies, words, games, and even history into a sanitized, unrecognizable mess. From reboots to cancel culture to language bans, it's like 1984, but with Wi-Fi. So strap in, lore lords, this one's as controversial as 6 female celebrities blasting off for an 11-minute joyride into outer space. Let's start with Hollywood's favorite pastime, the reboot. Studios are pumping out modern audience remakes faster than a viral TikTok trend, while swapping race and gender to dodge problematic labels. Given the fact that Disney's new live-action Little Mermaid had to be inclusive, it's no wonder they race-swapped the main character instead of just creating a new one. And Harry Potter, it needs a modern series update to tell the full tale and correct the original writer's purposeful description of Professor Snape. Ghostbusters? It's lacking female empowerment, and that demands a gender swap. Fans are screaming, please stick to the source. But studios say that their biased, hand-selected focus groups are begging for more inclusivity. Meanwhile, classics like The Office continue to attract new cult followings decades later, even as episodes such as Diversity Day, with its outrageous racial humor, are widely recognized as the kind of content that would never get made today. It's a shift similar to how Ace Ventura's transphobic jokes are now widely seen as problematic. While legendary films such as Blazing Saddles, with its barrage of racial slurs and satire, wouldn't stand a chance in a modern-day pitch meeting. Supporters claim this fixes outdated norms, while critics say it's erasing art for social virtue points. It's a tug of war, diversity versus fidelity, and fans are caught in the crossfire. It's not just movies though, even free speech is taking major hits. Choosing your words these days feels a lot like navigating through an active minefield. Certain words have become taboo. You can't say fat, or you're canceled. It's plus size now. Illegal immigrant? That's racist. It's undocumented. And Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head? Even they have been rebranded to pronoun-neutral potato heads. The censorship of words is even impacting the younger generations and their cultural trends, with schools across the states banning Generation Alpha's favorite slang terms such as words like cringe and gat, while arguing that these words can be used to shame and objectify others. Growing up, we were all taught that sticks and stones break bones. But now, apparently words are the real danger, even as a vast majority of Americans think language policing has gone too far. Yet, it's still everywhere. Protecting marginalized groups is important, sure. But when classroom lectures and Zoom chats begin to resemble corporate HR meetings, it doesn't free speech, it restricts it, becoming just another form of control disguised as compassion. It's got people whispering their honest thoughts in their private messages to friends. Then comes cancel culture, which is even worse. It's a social media witch hunt with mob rules mentality, no trials needed. Take Johnny Depp for an example. Despite never being convicted of abuse, he lost numerous major roles and almost saw his career collapse around him. Similarly, Justin Roiland faced domestic violence claims, with no charges, but was still fired from Rick and Morty, the show he helped create. And more recently, Oblivion Remastered has brought renewed attention to its original composer, Jeremy Soule. Soule faced allegations of sexual assault and harassment, but no criminal charges or definitive proof have ever emerged. But that didn't stop him from being blacklisted from the game industry entirely. Even now, the mob screeches the word problematic as they demand Bethesda change the game's musical score. Despite the lack of legal proof, cancel campaigns can still ruin careers. Not even progressives are immune if they step out of line. It's not accountability, it's mob justice. Where accusations equal guilt, the crowd cheers. But when due process dies, everyone becomes a target. Sexuality is another battleground entirely, and gaming is on the front line. Xbox's inclusion guide prohibits exaggerated female curves, as if curvy women don't exist in real life. In trying to be inclusive, they've ended up sidelining a whole segment of the population, turning representation into exclusion. Stellar Blade's titular hero? she's slammed as sexist, even though her character's design was based on real-life South Korean model Shin Jae-eun, whose body was used as a reference. Bayonetta 3? Too hot for modern gaming. Then you have games like Baldur's Gate 3 and more recently the Oblivion remake, which have ditched male and female for body type 1 and body type 2. As if relabeling biology fixes anything. J.K. Rowling's views on sexuality got Hogwarts Legacy blacklisted from the Game Awards, despite her never touching the game at all. Yet, it still outsold everything around it, while wearing the label problematic like a scarlet letter. So, is this progress? Maybe. But when a single tweet or a curvy character model can end a career, it's less about inclusion and more about power. Historic comedy legends like George Carlin and Eddie Murphy roasted race, gender, and religion. Nothing was off limits. Today, Dave Chappelle faces protests over trans jokes. Ricky Gervais gets backlash for mocking religion, and Bill Burr is called regressive for his takes on gender ideology. Now, even jokes have become problematic. Comedy is absolutely cooked. The line Carlin famously crossed has become a tightrope, with today's comics forced to balance sharp edge and cultural sensitivity like an extreme high-wire act, pushing boundaries deliberately while keeping audiences engaged without alienating them. Comedy is supposed to punch up, but a vocal minority has made whole topics off limits. As cancel culture rages on, 38% of Americans see it as punishment rather than accountability. As comedians self-censor, the freedom that once defined stand-up feels increasingly constrained. Last but not least, we have cultural censorship, where history is rewritten. American schools downplay Thomas Jefferson's genius because he owned slaves. Roald Dahl's books swap fat for enormous. And Dr. Seuss titles like Mulberry Street, they've been erased from existence due to insensitive art. Everything has become problematic. It's not about learning from history, it's rewriting it to avoid discomfort. Critics, they call this an echo chamber, while the supporters say it's righting past wrongs. But when you erase the past, you're not fixing it, you're just controlling the narrative. As George Orwell wrote in his book 1984, he who controls the past controls the future. He who controls the present controls the past. So what are we left with? At this point, given everything we've discussed, I think it's fair to say it's time for a dystopia check. Language bans are starting to look a lot like Newspeak from 1984, controlling not just what we say, but how we think. Cancel culture has become our modern version of shaming people for thought crimes. Social media mobs don't just watch us, they police us, sometimes even more ruthlessly than Big Brother ever could. And as for history, we're not just rewriting it anymore, we're erasing it altogether. A vocal minority is driving this, enforcing conformity where everything's problematic unless it's approved by them. Are we creating a safe space or just another padded cell? This isn't progress, it's a power grab, dressed up as empathy, and it's got us all tiptoeing towards a nightmare. Well, that's a wrap for today's Culture Lore. Is this oversensitivity saving us from harm, or are we sleepwalking into a world where nothing's allowed to offend, exist, or even be said? Drop your takes below. Remember to foster respectful dialogue. Let's keep it kind and courteous. Like, subscribe, and hit that bell. Stay curious, stay unique, and I'll catch you in the next one.